Oh, yeah. Been busy? Who's been busy working? Yeah, I have. Good day, though. Good day. Yeah, we put this off for a little bit. For one reason and one reason only. One reason. Texas. Yeah. I was asked to do a episode or a show about protests. The ins, the outs, the introductory bullet statement, so to say, the historical venue of what it instrumentally is. What is protesting? What's the purpose behind it? Why do people protest? And who are the real protesters? And who are the shenaniganistic people? Yeah, the instigators, the catharsis protesters, not the real expressive protesters with no mission whatsoever. Yeah. Then there's the instrumental ones. But let's kind of kick off here a little bit, and let's kind of change the venue. Everybody's been hearing about this. This is kind of why I put this off for a little bit. You know, the Texas teen stabbing, so to say. That's coming. It's a hot topic. That's one of the reasons, you know, people were saying, hey, why don't you do an episode on this? Well, this is in envelopment. It's all standing by itself within society. When I say envelopment, I mean the instrumental protesters have yet to show up. What is an instrumental protester? We've got to understand the fundamentals of the need for protest. Objective driven ideology, not edict, not rhetoric, but the protesting. The instrumental protesters are the people who show up because those protesters want a specific thing. A law changed, a specific person fired, a specific policy written. They treat protest like a tool, like a wrench for a nut or a bolt. It's not a therapy session for these people. It's not a therapy session for an instrumentalist protester. There are plenty of instrumentalist protesters, but unfortunately there are fewer instrumentalist protesters than there are expressive protesters, catharsis protesters. Simply, I'm mad and have nothing else to do but follow the sheep of stupidity into the roadway. Happens every day. The expressive protester, just the opposite. Completely the opposite. The expressive protester shows up for one reason, to show up and act out, the shouting, the marching, the holding the signs. It feels good. It feels like they're doing something. They're actually making a difference, but they're not. It's emotional protest. It's the medicine. It's not the policy. It's not the strategic outcome. It's the medicine for themselves, the calm to the emotion. I got so raveled up in my mother's basement or grandmother's basement watching this that I feel I must be a part of the instrumentation of the protest. What am I going to do? Everyone says it. Well, what did you do? Did you get out and protest? Did you get out and bang that drum? Did you get out and do something stupid and become known as the catharsis protester? Yeah, a catharsis protester. Releasing those strong emotions, like anger, like a temper tantrum, like a repeat because your party lost or your party didn't do what your party says they were going to do. It's not a political show, but there are lies on both sides of the fence, and we know this. This means the releasing of strong information through strong emotion, but yet that information is not validated. There's no validity to it. There's no credibility to that information that's coming out of that person's mouth, that person being the protest. No credible information whatsoever. It's anger, it's frustration, it's the way to provide relief for oneself because one has no cognitive ability to display, release, communicate. One has no way to be an instrumental protester. The instrumentation of the change, the push, the pull. It's kind of like going to Walgreens and getting a sedative for your temper tantrum. Yeah, something calm. The march is the pressure. The march is the value. It's not the battle plan to the catharsis protester. There is no battle plan. It's get out there and vent, show your anger. And it doesn't even have to be emotion or anger about the incident that the protest is fundamentally built upon. It could be someone's own trigger to their own catastrophic incident in their own life, their own failure. Kind of like, being a prosecutor, people not wanting to be prosecuted, but you set yourself up for your own failure. Research. This is an academic show, right? Research has found that these expressive participants in the last 10 years, the reaction of the outside world is not really important to them. It's them. They're winning. They're winning for themselves. Winning isn't the point. Venting is the point. Venting. There's nothing instrumental about wearing a giraffe suit. There's nothing instrumental about wearing an inflatable suit. I've always liked seeing this. Inflatable protestor suits. Let's see what we get. And you know, they're everywhere. All over the dadgum place. These are grown adult expressive protesters. Even teens, children. What's the instrumentation of a starfish or a pretty pony or a cookie monster for a need for specific venue of change for law, a specific person fired, policy, the decision, legislative enforcement, restriction of legislative enforcement if it's questionably sociologically not correct? Why do you think we have legislative enforcement anyway? Moral ought to, moral ought not. You vote for the people that write the laws. And you also vote for the people that enforce the protests. So when you're gearing up for the protests, it'll probably going to happen in Texas, you know it. Yeah, Black Panthers, Brown Berets, this beret, this militia, this group, this battle-hardened, airsoft, Amazon kit coming to Texas. The therapy march. Yeah, these expressive protesters, it's therapy. It's a breakdown. It's the sedative. It's the drug. It's not the catharsis protester, because the catharsis protester is just there out of anger, period. Frustration. It's not the emotion. The therapy march, the being there. It's some people treat the protest as therapy, even though it's loud and obnoxious. It's crazy. There's not really anything out there with the non-instrumentalist protesters. There's nothing there because the instrumentation is not there. It's just a gathering of buffoonery, shenanigans. Something to get out there and therapy. Get out there and self-medicate. Get out there and self-therapy. It's the carry of trauma, one's own trauma that one wants therapy for. The loss of a job, the daily humiliation of the streets. The chant becomes the mechanism of coping. Our streets. Our streets. Whose streets? You're protesting somewhere that you don't live. You drove miles and hundreds of miles and drove across country just to show up in your giraffe suit and hump the fence of an ICE facility or a legislative building or a federal building, or wear a chicken suit and perform simulated crude lewd sex acts in front of families, kids, the nation, the world. And it's emotion from you. Emotion, the trauma. There's something wrong with you in your chicken suit, in your giraffe suit. Protest is not where you need to be. You need to be in a real therapy session with a psychologist or somebody that can assess and identify and help you. Not out there just because everybody else is. It's an excuse. But for some, it is the excuse. It's the excuse to self-medicate. Forget the world. Forget the trauma. Forget the causation of the reason you're there. The causation. Not everybody can identify that causation. Everybody has one. The social media performer. Anybody remember the social media acolyte? Stand by. I'll show him to you. Protestor with red paint on face that got arrested. Let me see if I can find this guy. It was so great. Let me see. Oh yeah, he got arrested. Yeah, it was ICE. Portland. Memory serves me correct. Chats are open. If somebody remembers this. Yes, here it is. Here it is. Let me get this superhero on the screen for everyone to see. This is therapy. This is not instrumentation. This is not even catharsis protesting. This cat, right here, right there. Remember that? Breaking down, babbling like a child. Crazy. Had to do the red face, the blood. Had to do the handprint on the face. To my knowledge or recollection of any information I've received, he's not indigenous or part of the nation of people. Yeah, not Indians, because Christopher Columbus was a drunk. The original people. That's an image or a symbol used commonly for the organizations that recognize missing indigenous female, missing and murdered female from the tribal sections, the res. This guy's not off the res, he's just off of his emotional plateau and emotional rocker. It's not rocket science here. So when you're watching these protests, understand what you're looking at. It's not, a performance of true insurrection for a cause or instrumentation. It's a therapy, it's a chant, the cope. But sometimes, like we just see, the chant itself is the incorrect chant for the incorrect movement or the incorrect location at the time. Red palm, face, red palm, blood, sacrifice. I mean, if you have any indigenous training, that's missing and murdered indigenous women. That has nothing to do with ICE facility arrests. Not a thing to do. Then that becomes the social performer, the social media performer. It's not even therapy. It's not even the agnostic approach to it. It's just the same, look at me, I want clicks, I'm a sociological performer. Unlike this show, like it if you like it, subscribe, the chats are open. But moronic pinheads like this, yes, and you're hearing it from Dr. Michael Gurley, the social media performer, expressive protesters, often document themselves more than the issue. They want the attention. It's kind of like watching streamers that broadcast someone else's stream and want you to pay them. Core, yes, we have a Cash App to help the show for education, buy equipment, venue, pay for subscriptions to get it out to the world so that people can download the information, the white papers, the research, help them at a university. It's all free. Everything is free for download. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get it up here. And look, kablam, right here. Let me move this over. I should move it, shouldn't I? Right there at our Facebook. Yep, Facebook, Dr. Mike Gurley, CJTV. Go click it, become a member, join it. It's free. Download some of the research, use it for yourself in your own university or academic endeavors, and learn something and go forth and teach others how not to be a social media pinhead like this jackhat. Now, outside of the, therapy and the social media performers that hashtag the matter, more than the legislation behind the hashtag or the cause, because their goal is visibility, not the victory or the instrumentation of change. They're also the tourist protester. Yes, the one that comes to town. Everybody remember Black Lives Matter, BLM, those protesters, George Floyd, J6, January 6th. Yep, I'm pro-Constitution, pro-U.S., pro-police, pro-gun, pro-education, pro-learned, pro-academic. Learn how to use everything the correct way. J6 was the dumbest horse goat lead in any movement I've ever seen. Why? The Constitution does not support that. When I say that, I mean being led by social media performers in the tourist protest, just like every other protest, just like the protests happening across the United States for ICE. Why is it the majority of people protesting against ICE are Caucasian, European, in layman terms, white? It's not the unification, just like Britain right now. You don't see mass amounts of the indigenous transfer or migration of people. You see European or Caucasian for the stabbing. Yeah. Get in touch with what's going on in the UK right now. You'll understand. There's no unification for the protest. It's been emotionally hijacked. Now we go to the emotionally hijacking protester. When expressive motivation takes over, all right, the affected relative deprivation, the deprived, the feeling that you deserve better than others and you're furious about it, even though you don't really understand what you're furious about. It now becomes the only GPS in your compass for emotional protest. The reasons have been damaged. There's no instrumentation behind it. You're just emotionally in a raw mood, in a raw place, and now you want to become the part of the flow, the transit, the takeaway trip of the protester to a place that's got high attention right now in the country. When you see a crowd screaming, look for the ones who can't answer. The specific change, the specific end result you want, the ones that babble, the ones that go off course, the ones that act like a politician, that deviate from the question and answer ideological questions or edict from a question that was never asked to them directly. Those are the expressive protesters. They want the attention. They're not marching. They're marching for their own nerves, their own system. They're not there to support change in your neighborhood. They're not there to support change in your state or your city or amongst your people, amongst your race, amongst your culture. They're there because they're simply pissed off and mad at a system. The crowd steals the face of the protest. The crowd steals the face of the instrument of the protest. Now, nobody's here to argue race, religion, creed, good, bad, right, wrong. We're talking about the moronic of the moronic, the protesters. Let's take a look at some of the moronic of the moronic, just for example. All right. Now we have the social media acolyte, the one who just didn't get it right. That guy. Then the inflatable buffoonery, the ones that need that mental help themselves and really can't answer what the protest is about. It's an attention. Epstein. How did Epstein affect you? How did Epstein affect an inflatable chicken? This looks like a child. What is this? Let's go back. That looked like a teen or a child or... Somebody help me out in the chat. Was that a child? Hold on a minute now. We're going to close it. That's why we can't. Let's open this up in its own independent image. I can't tell. Maybe it's an elderly citizen of the discombobulated community that thinks Epstein had a true effect on them or a true effect on the populace of their city. Seriously? What, are you mad because Epstein had an island or, had the means to off himself or get offed? Next one, the emotional. People that do not even live in Texas, do not even understand. And there's one YouTube channel, I watched it last night. I'm not going to disclose the actual information, but there was a protester stating, and this is well, hold on a minute. I'll find it so that way somebody can't. All crackers. Or no, let's not do it. That's not what it was said. A good cracker is a dead cracker. Let's just go to some images and see if we can see it. Nope, video shorts. Yep. This cat right here. That cat right there circulating worldwide. This is Instagram, Facebook, X, all the good stuff. But you know why he's mad? He's the father of a child that was killed in a previous protest. Yes, look that up for yourself. Why? Because the guy's stepson has his own YouTube channel and expressed it and exposed it all last night. Yeah, last night. So even this guy, the expressive, the emotional, there's no instrumentation in this for this type of protester, especially when it's past tense from previous protests that were not instrumentation protests. You've got to know what you're looking at, especially what's coming up in Texas. All coming up from this superstar stuff. Not that it's good, not that it's bad. We just need to understand what we're looking at when we're watching protests, what type of protester it is, who the protester is, what the emotional hijack is, the deviation, the dividend division. It's a psychological state when you're feeling stopped. You're feeling separated from the person. But you're not truly connected to the person. You're connected to the person through social media. So when someone sets, cuts, deviates your attachment to the victim that the protest is about, cuts the connection of the race, the equality, the inequality, the religion, the identity. Now the individualizationism comes in. It's cell-like in nature. It's kind of like a symbiote takeover. It's simply a larger building organism in society. It's really all it is. A state of individualism, anonymity. You're feeling nobody knows who you are, but people allow you to do it. The anonymity, the people who do things, but they would never do alone, but they can do it in a protest. It's a diffuse situation. Diffuse responsibility means the blame goes toward the event. The action of the blame can't go to you because it spreads across the crowd. It's like peanut butter on bread. There's no single person who is fully held accountable for this type of protest. There isn't one, not even the offender, because there's the court of law, not even the victim, because there's the court of law and something called victimology, the research of the victim, the investigation of the victim. Did the victim self-victimize? Much like this case in Texas, the arguments. Is it a self-victimization incident? Yet to be disclosed, but here we are. The division of the lack of protesters. No instrumentation of a protester with a true direction. Yeah, then we have the massive media, the emotionally hijacked. Now, we're going to check this out for a second. This was something that was sent to me from a friend of mine who was watching this, and it's kind of historical venue for those of you that know anything about the Zulu Nation and Great Britain. Historical venue. The bullhorn, the technique, right? The takeover, the shift. Delaney Hall. While everybody's out there emotionally protesting, they're missing what's really happening. The police are taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of the tourist protester. They're taking advantage of the social media performers. Because what's really happening with the social media focused on this one little incident, there's a bullhorn of law enforcement and shields circling. Oh my gosh, now everybody that is the social media performer, the therapy marcher, the tourist protest, the expressive protester, the catharsis protester that's just angry and frustrated, even some of the instrumental protesters with true purpose, they're sucked into the middle of this right now because of the stupidity and the confusion of people believing that jackasses that show up without true instrumental purpose can create a longer outcome. This is what you get. This is what you get. You lose. Then right here, we gotta pause this. We gotta pause this so quick. This right here, where this guy gets pulled off. Right there. Everybody's like, oh, poor man dragged out by the police. No. If you watch the full footage of this, 30 minutes worth of shenanigan, emotion, expressivism. You know, I thought that guy was going to do a Crip ghetto dance or something. Yes, I said it. Crip ghetto dance. Why else do you get out there and shutterbug with your boys with a red bandana? Maybe I misquoted that. That would be Blood or another gang, not the Crip. But it's kind of like fake Antifa, right? But this is what you get. The emotion. There's no instrumentation. And then everyone gets offended because of the lack of education, and you watch these protests and you're entertained by it, and it's a drug. It's like alcohol to a group of people that have never had alcohol. It's a conducive change that is unconducive to the need. That's what you got right here. That's what you have. It's kind of like Don Lemon. The day he went into the church, that one guy outside the ICE Center that was insulting him, that was all, you know, extreme left screaming all of this stuff, calling Don Lemon racial slurs. Then he found out it was Don Lemon of CNN and was like, oh, I apologize, man. You're my boy. You're cool. Expressive protester, social media acolyte. Look at me. Yep. Look that up for yourself. Happened that same night, that same day. How do I know? I got phone calls from students. Hey, Dr. Gurley, did you see that jackass do that? Yep, sure did. Yep, sure did. I saw it. Why? Because I was in my shop with my dogs working on a motorcycle, and I just happened to have that on with a certain live stream that I watch. Not going to disclose that. But true implementation of stupidity. Right here. Social media. You're like, oh, we're the press. No, you're not the dadgum press. Just because you're a social media acolyte with a camera and a fake sign and a homemade badge that looks cool that folds out, you're not the press. That is not what the Constitution covers. The Constitution does not cover individual freelancer. It doesn't cover that. You are not the legalized press. United States Supreme Court. Go do your own research. 99.9% of these pinheads out here are not press. Social media, expressive. There's no instrumentation, no instrument in inciting this with cameras. The more clicks, the more shutter snaps, the more anger, the more emotion. Because everybody likes to take pictures of a good dogfight, right? Everybody likes to take pictures of a good shark attack. Well, what do you think you have right here? It's a big wolf attack. For those of you that have been to the basic, right? The wolf drill instructor surrounding incident. Then there it is. Right there. That's the perfect. This was great. I liked watching this. I didn't really know this happened until somebody sent it to me. And it's great. I hope they... Yep. What are you going to do against horses, dumbasses? What? What are you going to do? Nothing. Scream. God. Then there's more unhinged emotion. More emotion. Performers. Catharsis protesters. The expressive ones. There. Out of town. The majority of these people aren't even from there. So when you're watching this, understand what the definitions are for these type of protesters. If you think you're going to walk up in front of a 6'3" cop when you're obviously 80 pounds overweight and couldn't do a push-up, then you're going to stand in front of a car like a jackbag. You're still going to lose. And this is coming from an academic guy with military and law enforcement. You're still going to lose, man. It's the simple given takeaway. It's the massive metadata of analysis. Sociologically, psychology. I mean, studies have found that, you know, the individual and division within crowds or core protests, the collective behavior, it's helping explain why normal peaceful protests become destructive in mobs because of these types of protests. There's no instrumentation of the true instrumental protester. Instrumental protesters are the ones that make change. They have direction. They understand the idea. They're not dressed up like... Let me back this up. They're not dressed up like these fake jackhats. Stand by. Stand by. Stand. That cat right there where the cursor is. What do you plan on doing with Walmart goggles? Nothing. There's no instrumentation. It's a phone. It's just emotion. Pure garbage. Pure trash. And then there's the biggest instrumentationist of all. Yes. The enthusiast. The one that creates enthusiasm. Yeah, we call them the enthusiast. The enthusiastic, submissive, suggestive person that beats the drum. Yes. What? Now, if you know anything about the drum, and you know anything about the snare drum, and you know anything, for those of you that have been at a university, and you've taken American history, and especially those of you that have taken, you know, British history. Yes. It's one of those electives, right, when you need a secondary history course, so people take it. Take a listen. Now, somebody could say, oh, that's a college band. Where the hell do you think it came from? Across the pond. Yes, across the pond. The great nation, England, UK, the great monster takeover of the 15th, 16th, and 17th century. And now you're playing that as an archaic battle cry against ICE. Well, thanks for the support. Appreciate it for those that are of the UK descent. I need to send this to Jake Morrow. He would get a kick out of this. Yeah, might as well have the British Army at your door. Not a college band or a college performer, but the British Army. How do I know? 4.5 years in England. Alconbury, Swindon, Fairford, Lakenheath. Yep. Nothing cooler than that when you're out in a crowd protesting something that's supposed to be, I don't know, anti-government, anti-ICE. The stupidity. Now I know. This is an academic guy. Why is this academic guy giving us exemplars of what protesters are? For you to understand. So if you want a copy of this or you want this information, send me an email. It's right there, Gmail. Kind of changed up things for, a little bit from last time. Write it down. I'll send it to you. I'll give you the full research documentation on this for free. So the next protest you watch, you'll be able to point it out. You'll be able to say, hey, that's an expressionist protester, or that's an instrumentational protester, because the words, specific policy, specific program, specific person, specific violation, it's not a therapy session to them. It's kind of like a congressman or a congresswoman arguing specifics, not some moron in a Walmart mask and a set of Home Depot goggles with a plastic barrel shield and an umbrella, or somebody in a Barney suit or a giraffe suit. Who's seen that one with the guy in the giraffe suit humping the fence? Yeah, that's not even catharsis protesting. That's just emotionally disturbed. Who shows up looking like that? Who goes out in public in giraffe pajamas? It's pretty self-degrading. The mask effect. Let's talk about a few more things. The mask effect. When people cover their faces, all right, literally or figuratively, they feel less like a named individual and more like the category. We're not talking about law enforcement here. We're not. Law enforcement does that for a specific reason. Protesters do that for a specific reason too. They're not singular anymore. They're for a named event, a named category, a named purpose, a named mission, just like law enforcement. But the protester is not law enforcement. This is why, I don't know, the spikes in divide individualism. Yeah, divide individualism. The individualism is being divided in the divide. Not everyone covers that face in that protest because some people want to be seen. Even though it's rhetoric and edict and they're a social media acolyte and it's all emotion, they want to be seen. The masks hide it. It creates the darkness, the hiding of the personality. When the person, if you truly look, and I'm speaking the truth, if you look at someone sometimes, you can tell they have no clue what's going on or what's being spoken about because they don't understand the words. You can tell facial expression, physical kinesics. Yes, it's kind of like going to another country and hearing a word that's insultive to you, but in another country it's perfectly normal, and you have a now Scooby-Doo head twist and an eye twitch because you're uncognitive of the true definition and the surrounding of the area that you're in of a word. Kind of like when in Rome, be Roman, do as the Roman would do. Not a thug in the United States with an umbrella and a Walmart plastic shield. The mask effect, the chant, the trance. Our streets, no justice, no peace. Of course you're not going to have any peace if there's no justice. That means the damn police are gone. We wouldn't have a need for justice if society wasn't on the moral ought not plateau, representing chanting lower critical thinking skills. It has no cognitive inception of a definition whatsoever. You're oxymoroning yourself. You're deflecting crap off a windshield to yourself. No justice, no peace. Okay, so let's go on strike, cops, so that you will have no justice and no peace. Just run rampant on the damn road and burn everything down. Stay off the university campuses, please. Good grief. Stay. At least the universities don't give two craps about what you are. Left, right, Republican, Democrat, it's all about this. Knowing that the chant trance is there. It's kind of like watching this show. I can't believe I'm watching this guy busted out like a can of meat. Yeah, the chant trance. States where you are, your body, but your brain blocks the rhythm of the instrumentation need, the change, the direct, the person, the policy. You're stuck in the group's rhythm of the chant trance, making independent judgment feelings of loyalty, even disloyalty to things that you are not cognitively aware of. You do not understand. You do not understand the basic fundamentals or conceptualism of constitutional protection. You think you know your rights. Well, where do they come from? The Constitution. What part? What? Where did the Constitution come from? Everybody thinks the Constitution was a piece of paper drafted by a bunch of old white dudes with wooden teeth after the Civil War. Yeah, I said it. I've heard that so many times. The Revolutionary War, a couple of months. It was 20 years, people. 20 plus years. Just like Hitler. Everybody thinks Hitler did it in World War II, 41. No, that was started in 1933. Germany, the Jews, not in the 40s. There was an 8-year separation to where Hitler made the actual advancement before World War II started. Same conceptualism here, the disappearing conscience of it. No one understands. Under self-awareness, the internal voice that asks, is this right? Are you protesting for the right thing based on the brain's interlock of the group's rhythm, making independent judgment, right? Independent judgment and loyalty or disloyalty. You're going to ask yourself, is this right? It gets quieter in your head while the group and the momentum gets louder, the chant. The crowd voice drowns it out for you, so it's easier to pull you in. It's easy and it dumbs you down. You don't have to think independently now. You can be sucked into it, in and out all day long. The moral reasoning is replaced by the emotional cognition of the group. The congregation. It's kind of like going to a church. Yeah, that's why you go. The spirit and surrounded by the people of this, that, or other, whatever religion it is that you practice. It's an automatic spread of feeling to the person that's trapped in the group. The chant, the conciseness of it. The disappearing conciseness because the mask effect, the chant effect. It's like a good mood virus jumping all over you, host to host. You're there, you're with a collective. Now you're part of something, but you're not an instrumentational protester. You're just there. You're just another meat item on the venue for the sharks. Yeah. Why do you think those people are so easy to get a hold of by the police? Reach out and grab, suck you in behind the shields. Yeah, they get back. Why is it the crowd sounds like a bunch of yackling hyenas, but as soon as 40, 50, 60 law enforcement officers show up or state troopers, and it sounds like an army of Spartans? No organization. Yeah. The concises. Not a problem with law enforcement. It's concise, very. Training. Word of law. Just the way it is. The chant trance doesn't work. The exit barrier, once de-individualized, all right? Once one person is de-individualized from the group or the protest, outside, pulled away from the chant, the motivation, the mood, the emotion, it feels like an amputation. Why were they there? I can't be there. It's an amputation. You want to be there. The group has become your identity, the protest, the chant, the banners, the flags, the stupid black pajamas with the Walmart and fake-ass airsoft Amazon, eBay crap you buy to look cool. You've been separated now. You've been amputated your identities away. It triggers cognitive dissonance. Now, where do you go? Who's your new protest group? Who's your new target? What do you want to go to now? It's kind of like Antifa. Antifa is not a damn group. Antifa is a term and a word and a movement that's been around since. Research it correctly, because some research will tell you, if you use AI or Googly or Wikipedia, that it hasn't been around that long, but it's been around since the Roman Empire. Yeah. The hunters of men, the first murderer detectives. Yes. Not Europe, not England, not Ireland, the Roman Empire. Do your own history, or trust this criminal justice professor, right, with 35 years of military and law enforcement, or go do your own research. But once the exit barriers there, you're blocked out. It's kind of like what we just watched, that Zulu move around the group. Now we separate the real protesters, the instrumentational, the press, and the emotional, the exacerbators of garbage and trash that are out there that really are going to have no effect to the movement whatsoever, other than be sheep to the slaughter. Yeah, sheep to the slaughter of everybody seeing the failure of a movement, whatever it may be. The mental stress, the holding of yourself, conflicts with your own beliefs once your exit barrier has been manipulated and used against you. You're no longer part of the group. Well, it's immoral. I just threw a brick. Everybody runs now because you threw a brick and it hit the police car, hit the cops. Now you've been concisely amputated because no one wants to go to jail for your dumbass. No justice, no peace? Well, you got the cops there. There's justice, there's peace. Peace for the one that threw the brick, and peacefully you can run away. It's kind of like the law. Can you chase a person that runs when law enforcement shows up? No. What's the probable cause? What's the violation? What is the misdemeanor charge that the officer witnessed? Is it a felony or a capital crime investigation to where we already know the subject of interest, and the subject of interest runs away because the subject knows law enforcement knows who they are and what they did, and they know that? Yeah, the interpretation of society, that exit barrier that happens. The most dangerous person in a riot, it's not the ideology. It's not the words. It's the accountant, the one protester there that's not an instrumentalist. It's the one protester that forgot what the account was about, the instrument, the change, the details, the names, the law, knows the title code annotated, the numbers in front of it. Not just can arrest them. It's been in the books for over 100 years in the United States not to enter illegally. It just depends on the instrumentalist that get voted into office that enforce the ideology behind the legislative word of law that you as society vote into place. Why do you think the majority of states are turning specific colors in 2026? Wait till 2027. And I'm not pro either color. Don't give a damn about either color, red or blue. The word of law, moral ought to, moral ought not, the internal dialogue. So when you're watching your protests this weekend, enjoy it. Make sure you can identify the real protesters and the protesters that are just there for self-gratification, to get you to click, to get you to watch, to get you to expressively shift your emotion toward their cause that is a severed appendage already.